I still can't. Okay, now it's good. We just have to check that our sound is okay. Yeah.
Okay, voice check for this time. Hello. Wait, my stream is lagging actually.
Yeah, it's lagging a bit. Yeah.
Is my internet? Stream is lagging actually. No, I don't think
No,
it's my
don't
internet.
think so. Yeah,
No.
it's lagging a bit. Yeah.
Okay, I think we sound good. And this time around I'm checking. Okay, yes, the voice is working. Say something or not?
Voice check. Voice check.
Okay, yes, good. Let me just boost my microphone a little bit. This should be good now.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yep.
So, hello, Classic David.
It's a classic David. Wait, let's give it a couple of minutes so this thing loads up. You sent out a message, right?
Yeah, just now.
Okay,
actually.
Good. So let's see what classic David, number one player again, says, right? I mean, he's been number one for the last 10 streams, maybe 20 even. Numero uno. Hey, Alex Arnaud and Maggie, she's not a Siamese cat. She's a British royal cat. I'm not even kidding, right? It's called British Royal Blue Cat. Yeah, she's she has, I mean, her original name is Queenie or something like this, right? So yeah, she even has a queen-like name. But obviously you rename it, right? I'm not gonna keep the official name because official cat names of, you know, when they come, when you first buy them or when you get them, are sometimes weird, right? So Bitcoin broke 36k, so now you're longing for 41k. BTC dominance went down a bit. I suppose it's the sideways we have expected. Okay, so David, yes, this is exactly what I wanted to talk about today. I actually had a very good chart. But unfortunately, it just closed down my Telegram. But I had a very good chart. Let me see if it's on my black charts, perhaps. Oh yeah, it is on my black chart. So what was I expecting, right? I mean, this is obviously done from the previous one. I think this was when we were around here, down here. Let me see. When was our previous stream? I think it was Wednesday, 23rd. So yeah, I want to apologize. We didn't have a stream last night. I had to go to the hospital. I had to get the CT scan done for her head, you know, because I got some headaches and all of that shit. Turned out everything is okay, so nothing to worry about. So yeah, I couldn't do it last night. So I just we're doing stream today, right? But of course, the next week we are gonna go on Wednesday as normal. So on 7th. And then it's gonna be my birthday actually, so then I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to do on Wednesday or Thursday or not. So yeah.
Yeah, we can move that to Thursday. Not a problem.
Yeah. So anyways, let's do a quick breakdown of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, man, like Arnold, I'm telling you, I'm waiting for this range to break already because it's pretty boring. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty boring, and I, for myself, haven't had a lot of trades lately. But I do have, or I should say, I did take one trade today. Do you know which one I took, Arno?
Yeah, maybe here.
Yes, that's exactly the trade I took. So basically, what was my plan, right? So if you move this box up here, which I had it on my black charts, I was posting that on Telegram in one of the groups that I follow the chats, right? So anyways, my initial idea was, okay, wow, you know, you still didn't break this, which was quite magical. I'm very much surprised that we still managed to hold this range, even though we had this leak slide all the way down to 28,000, right? I'm still very much surprised we didn't break that, because, you know, there's a massive amounts of stop losses down there, and I thought if we're gonna slide under 30k here, right, that we are very much gonna go and swoop this sort of area very fast, or let's just say in a very hasty manner, right? And that surprisingly didn't happen at all, right? I mean, we did grab liquidity down there and we closed right back in. But I'm gonna say by swooping this low, right, even by just swooping it a wick, I'm gonna have to say it's too late for Bitcoin. By doing that, I'm gonna have to say at this point of time it's probably too late, because you did create a nice structural range, you did create multiple swing point on those structural range, and then you went down, negated all of them. We all remember this one, right? And you know, just swooped another low, which is definitely not good for the structure wise. So I'm not saying this turns us absolutely bearish, it doesn't, but like I'm saying, I think I said this in a previous stream, I'm pretty much very confident.
80%.
Yeah, thank you. I'm pretty much very much confident it's about 80% bearish, and we are pretty much gonna continue sooner or later. You know, we're gonna continue on this way down. Of course, we don't have to, you know, we don't have to ignore the fact that we already had a monthly close just today, because today is the 1st of July, right? And if you look at the monthly close from the 1st of July, actually let's do it on this chart because it's a little bit better. If you look at the monthly close on 1st of July, you can see that this definitely calls for a larger pullback, right? This definitely looks like a larger pullback is gonna take a place. And you know, in this case, if you look at it from strict pointly from a monthly perspective, you know, 20k isn't even that substantial on monthly, right? You can see that pretty much 12k is where all the money is lying at, and we're most likely gonna test that area as something that we have been expecting for a very long time now, right? Obviously, like you can see, this can take very many candles, right? And because if you look at it in the last, let's just put it like since January all the way to the July, you know, we didn't make that much of a move. We are basically on the same level, and that's about 7 months in, 6 to 7 months in, right? So yes, this could potentially take another 10, 12 months to reach this area, right? Or it could be potentially 3 to 4 months. You don't exactly know. We don't try to predict the timelines or anything like that. But you can see right now, if you're not exactly biased or anything, when you see a monthly chart like this, you definitely see that there is a lot of room in between that we can potentially fill, right? And with that room in between can be filled, and you can see there's a gap, which you know, it's just only logical for us to retrace and fill, right? I mean, it is the sense how usually these price action markets on crypto operate, right? So yeah, going down to a smaller time frame, because that is obviously a pretty huge time frame, so there's no point in explaining that. I'm gonna say macro level stuff, long term, let's just say long term stuff, macro level stuff, we are definitely bearish, right? We are definitely leaning more towards bearish percentages than we are to bullish. But again, as I said at the beginning of this stream, I actually took a trade today. You know, being a long time frame bearish doesn't mean I cannot participate in some of the longs in order to hedge my position, right? So my plan, I'm gonna say at the end of the previous week and the beginning of this week was as such, right? Let me just draw it up. So if I move this box all the way to up here, that was my short area, and down here, that was my long area. So what I initially wanted to do, right, the most perfect scenario I had in here in mind, which in this case it didn't happen, right? The most perfect scenario I had in mind here is short this, right? And then start longing around here, right? So the price action could have changed if something like this happened. So I might have been longing a little bit higher in that perspective, but because now it didn't happen, there's no point in predicting that, right? So yeah, so my plan was short here, come down here, long here, and then wait for this range to resolve itself, right? So you got your stop loss, well, not that high, sorry, it's a little bit lower, and you got your stop loss here, right? And you just wait for this range to resolve itself. So you got a prime entry on your short, you got a prime entry on your long, right? And obviously I would take a little TP here of my short, and I will take a little TP here of my long, right? But then I would mainly wait for this range to break, and if it goes up, you make money. If it goes down, you make money. So basically you're prepared in both directions. Now, unfortunately, that didn't happen because Bitcoin, again, weirdly as it is, it only tested 36k and already retracted itself, right? So from that bounce that we initially had, it already retracted right down the middle of the structure. So if you look at it, on the middle of the structure was from the previous block that we actually have. Let me delete this right now, sorry. Oh, Jesus, come on. Okay, let me delete that. So the middle of the structure joined down here. So we didn't even able, I mean, which is again strange, right? For something that we have done here, this is incredibly bullish when you do something like this. We didn't even were able to breathe the middle of the structure, which is something that happens a lot of times during such scenarios, right? So we weren't able to beat the middle of the structure. So right now what I'm forced to do is to take my long right here, take my long run here with the stop loss underneath, right, underneath the low. And you know, at this point I have my trade in, but I'm not particularly happy with this trade. Why am I not happy with this trade? Because we have higher chances of going down and going up long-term frame, right? So by participating in this trade right now, I am defying the markets, right? So I'm not trading towards my most let's just say towards the most percentage-wise preferable win, right? I'm basically long should only act as a hedge to my short in this sort of direction in case we still go on and test the 45k levels, which in this case on because we're still holding it, they're still on the menu. But a little thing, because what we did here, I would be a little surprised if it happens, but I need to keep my mindset open to it, right? Because it's not exactly invalidated. So yeah, what I'm saying is, right now, if you're gonna open the same kind of long that I did, do not smash a big risk at it. If you don't have a short to begin with, right? If you don't have any shorts from running from here, then don't smash a big risk at it. This is something like you take for 0.5% risk or 1% risk, right? And if you're gonna take that, then you 100% of the time have to short this. Like 100% of time you have to short this. And then play it exactly as I just explained it, right? So when the long comes up here, you sell some of it for profit and you open 1 to 1.5% short. You can open a bigger short than you can open than you have an outstanding long, and a very good reason for that is because, as I explained further, you have higher percentages of going down than going up at the moment with this current structure, so you can play to your strengths, right? So not only do you hedge your position, but you kind of add a little bit of an extra to the side that you actually believe it's going to go in, and if it doesn't go to that side and it stops you above the top, by the time it reaches 45k, right, you're gonna make more money that you've lost on this short, right? So that's primarily the idea. So even though you're wrong on the direction, you still don't lose money, and that's the very beauty of this kind of trading, right? That we have basically been doing on this channel for the last, yeah, what, 1 year, half a year, or not, something like that. Basically, from the beginning of the streams, we've been pursuing the same kind of strategy, right?
Yeah.
And it's a very effective strategy, as you can see, for this manner, because no one can predict the market to 100% degree, right? Unless, you know, like you do have points when I'm like 100% bullish, right? And most of them would be having several daily or even weekly close underneath the level of 29k. But the problem of that is, if you think about it in crypto, when you get something like this, do I have a full week of time to wait for me to close underneath these levels? No, because mostly what you're gonna get in crypto is gonna be a week like this. So this is exactly what I was expecting. Once we're gonna slide underneath these levels that has this giant stop losses underneath them, I was expecting a candle like this, and maybe, you know, you could be 3, 4, 5, 6 days and you're already hitting this kind of levels, right? So this is the problem, because when you start going under in the crypto, then something happens relatively fast, and if you wait for the closes for too long, you miss the entire run. So sometimes you do have to jump in and do some of this stuff prematurely, right? And this is unfortunately the only solution you can do, and there is just no way to 100% eliminate the risk. You will always be exposed to somewhat of a risk or something, right? In the future. So yeah, so Bitcoin in this case, I'm gonna say pretty straightforward levels right now. Easy long, easy short. There's nothing else to do with Bitcoin. Like there's like, you know, you might think there's some fancy trades in between there. No, they're not. I mean, just not from the price action perspective. What we are doing right now, I'm gonna simply say we're trading chop, right? This is what you want to call chop. So I'm gonna say again, from my personal experience, most of the traders lose their money inside of the chop. Where the money is being made is here. This is where you make money, right? And this is where most of the players lose money, right? Because trading ranges, so let's just say when the range starts forming itself at first, you have very high probability trades, right? Again, what do I mean by that? So let's just say right now we imagine that this left side doesn't exist, right? So we just came down, we bounced, we created a range. You can see top of the range, bottom of the range, right? Now you can see one very similar scenario, right? Then when we tested the bottom of the range, it held. When we tested the top of the range, it held, right? So those are two most best trades you can have in the range, right? So those two will always, or should I say in many times, they will be reacting exactly as you've imagined it, right? They have a very high strike ratio, and they are the first test of the range levels. So this is the first test. This is why I like trading first test so goddamn much, right? Then come out, everything else later on, you can see it's a lot more choppy, right? Even though, yes, again, the second time you did held the bottom and top of the range, right? But then the third time you busted the bottom of the range, you did somewhat react from the top of the range, but then you busted it again, right? And then again, when you go in for the fourth test of this middle level, look, you just slide it through. You didn't even give a shit. You didn't even give a shit about the bottom of the range, you slide it through as well. So you can see the longer the range goes on, the more it disrespects these levels, because the liquidity of those levels has been taken before, and you know, people have randomly placed their stop losses underneath here, and it starts to act more like a forex, right? And what I mean by that is more like a forex. It likes to take out previous stops and previous lows because liquidity is stacked underneath them. They take it out, they fill the position. Sometimes most of this, that's mostly forex related, they fill the positions underneath the stop loss levels because they have a large influx of liquidity down there, and you know, after they do that, they just proceeded to take it in the opposite direction, and thus funds make a lot of money doing that, right? Funds, banks, anyway. Crypto works a little bit different. Crypto hasn't really started doing that too much. I mean, this is one of the glimpses that probably would happen in forex. This is exactly something that you would see in forex, right? You would take the trade underneath the low, you would grab liquidity, and then you would reverse it, right? In crypto, a lot of the times when you did something like this, when you went under the low, you actually went lower. When you broke the levels, you actually went lower. You didn't have a lot of stuff like this happening, right? But yeah, that's a decent share, even though if you look at it, even that big slide of the liquidations we had, yes, the price action changed a little bit, but you can see, even though from observing this, you never actually lost a low. This entire run up, you almost never lost a previous low, right? Until you happened first time here on a weekly. This was one of the first times you lost a low, right? Because you had a nice swing point here created, then you totally broke this swing point with these two candles, and that was actually the spiral down. And again, if you look at the chart from weekly standoff point, you can see you're even creating a little bit of an ooh. It's not exactly looking like the best kind of chart that's gonna pump. So you can see there's a multitude to why percentages are stacking against the bulls at the moment, but you gotta keep your mindset open, because some possibility of longs are also to be able to play. Yeah. So now two scenarios can happen. Yes, we just filled this long, right, on this position right now. Who knows? We can get directly stopped and it just goes lower, which is fine, right? It is fine, because if something like this happens, we get stopped well before that. Then it happens like a $10,000 drop, and you make money in this green case, right? Because we are gonna be buying there for sure. So yes, in this case, we are trading chop. This is a low probability trade because we are against the high time frames, we are against percentages, we are pretty much against everything. But in this sort of a case, it is still a very valuable play, because at the end of the day, 45k is still a 35% away, or in this case, all the way up to 55k, which would be a maximum, is still 60% away. Given the take that our stop loss in this case is about 7%, you know, and given that this is almost 65%, well, that's almost 10R. So it's still a very good play, which is gonna play. And since we say we are bearish about 80 to 20% of time, I mean 80 to 20% ratio, you still have that small ratio that leaves you being profitable over long periods of time, which we negate because we add extra percentage for ourselves, because we already short in here and hedging our long position. And if it breaks down here, then that's the way how you actually make good kind of money, right? That's the actual way. Now for us to be breaking, now one thing is, right, for us to be breaking this low and then actually going back, no, that's a very tiny percent of chance, which in this case, it's so tiny, I'm gonna disregard it, right? Because I'm gonna say again, if we swoop this low for one more time, goddamn, then I'm like, we have to go down. Like, goddamn, like I do not imagine this swooping the low once, even lower than this, and still closing back in and still going up. I just cannot imagine it at the point. That would be such a low possibility or probability at this point that I don't even want to essentially discuss it at this point, right? So yeah, So yeah, as you were saying, Classic David, to the beginning of your question, right? BTC broke 36k, so now you're long in for 41. Yes, I am long in for 41. In this case, sorry, for 38, 39 first, and then I'm long in for 45. I'm not gonna even go for 41. I'm not. This was already tested, so I'm not gonna be going for this. I'm going straight for this, right? I'm going straight for this, a little bit lower, sorry, because I'm watching a little bit left side. Yeah, I'm going straight for this. So yeah, 41 is going to be ignored for me. I'm shorting here, and then this is going to be my next play. So again, 45k is something I won't be shorting on the first touch. I'm going to be shorting by the low time frames. But what I am shorting on the first touch 100% of the time is 55k. Like 53 to 55k I'm shorting on first touch. I'm just going to preset everything in here. And I'm talking a big boy short right here. And you know, if it plays out, make good money. If it doesn't, fuck it. Hope I got a long running from down here, right, to negate some of the losses that are gonna occur here, right? But this is how I usually always play crypto, and so far it's been very successful. Would you say, Arnaud?
Yeah.
Would you say? Okay, so we can then go check Ethereum. Ethereum just looks way worse than Bitcoin. Let me tell you that one, right? Ethereum just... I'm just gonna put it like that. Ethereum is dead. Ethereum is straight up dead, right? I mean, I don't even know what to comment about Ethereum. Ethereum just looks way worse than Bitcoin at one. So Ethereum, like if I had to short it, I would start at 2.4k already, 2.5, 2.4k. But at this point, I would just say rather short Bitcoin than Ethereum, right? I know Ethereum will make you bigger gains, but Ethereum is very complicated in this sort of sense, right? I mean, on Ethereum, like when people tell me, well, how can you tell Ethereum is bearish, right? And I'm gonna just delete everything here, right? So how can you tell Ethereum is bearish? It's super simple, guys. Just flip the chart. So, you know, inverse the chart, like, and look at this chart. Is this not something you would have long? I mean, if we are talking like man to man, right? Is this, or, you know, man to girl, whatever, right? Is this something you would not long, right or not? If you look at a chart like this, would you long this? I mean, what would you expect of a chart like this?
No, I wouldn't know.
Because,
I would long after we broke something like this.
Yeah, because the thing is, right, you have a nice little V, right? You gain a little bit to the left side, right? And look at that. Now you broke it. Now this would be your clear long scenario, right? This would be where you would long it and you would expect for your next resistance to be hit here, right? And that's exactly how you do. And if you flip the chart, you know, anybody can see that this is more in this sort of sense, if I flip it, bullish than bearish, right? So yes, in that way, if I flip the chart, Ethereum makes a whole lot of sense that I would long it, right? But if you flip it back, right, in that case, that means if you long it, you're shorting it actually, right? So you can see Ethereum is very bearish, a lot more bearish than Bitcoin. And if you go back to Bitcoin and you do it the same kind of thing, it doesn't look exactly as terrible as that, right? Because the Bitcoin didn't go through this side, which Ethereum basically did, right? So yeah, Bitcoin doesn't look as bad as that, but still it looks something I would definitely long, right? If I were playing this as an alt, I would definitely long it, right? And where I would long it until we break that, well, you guessed it, I would long it right down here, right? And if it goes path, boom, I would long it here, right? Right? So yeah, it's just standard play. And a lot of these times, I gave you this tip already plenty of time, guys, when you don't know what to do, flip a chart. And if you flip a chart, right, if I'm looking at it from like this, it's not as clear to me. Even to me, when I'm so experienced, it's not very clear to me. But if I flip it like this, I can very much clearly see, oh shit, man, I would long this any day of the week, right? So yeah, basically like this. So Ethereum looks a little bit worse than Bitcoin. Not a little bit, a lot worse. And yeah, basically, don't exactly have a too big of a plan with Ethereum. I would much rather short, in this case, Bitcoin, right? Like I said, but if I had to short Ethereum, that would be the place to go for right now. That would be the number one. And yeah, possibly with longs right now, I'm not really seeing them. Well, not on Ethereum, I would just rather long a Bitcoin. So yeah, gotta be like a broken record on Ethereum. I mean, it's just a very peculiar chart, very hard to read chart. And you know, especially if you look at a BitMEX, sorry, tested 1.4k, right? But you know, it never tested it on any other exchanges, so I'm still waiting for this box to be hit, right? Still waiting for this box to be hit, and I do think it's gonna be hit in the near future. So yeah, saying that, we can now go check out Bitcoin dominance, right? Let's check out Bitcoin dominance. So let's see, another rejection, which happened already the previous week, right? When's the time we had a stream? Bam, bam, bam. Oops. That was on 23rd, yeah. So I think we're like around here. Yeah. Okay, so that was already. Okay, so we haven't done yet anything from it. So we're still holding this box. So I'm still gonna wait for it, you know, I still said, right? This is the most bullish reaction right now. So if we react from here, you got a good chances of going actually up and away to like 452 or even higher, right? So this is a bullish reaction right now. If it starts moving underneath this, then we are gonna test the low again, which again in this case could be good for Ethereum and all the other alts, right? So yeah, if you drop this underneath this, then yes, classic David, then you would be having chances to go for 42. But for right now, not yet, my dude, not yet. This is holding still very strong, and this is a part of the bullish reaction. So if it does react from here, this is gonna be a very well on for something much higher than this, right? So yeah, you would have, you still have a very good chances of breaking out this. So it would be too early to call something like this. Well, I got to this. Well, I got to deserve my golden membership somehow. Well, you definitely got your golden membership, David. You've proven yourself more than once, so you definitely got yourself a golden membership. So let me check ADA BTC fast to kind of see what's the lowest possible. I mean, is it even good for you to know this lowest possible entries? I gotta go on Bittrex, right? Yeah. I mean, do you even want to know these lower possible entries? Because those are still so far away. Yeah, the lowest possible entry, huh? So we do it like this. Okay, so what you would want to see is 2.3 here. Around here would be. But since you didn't break the top, this is very detrimental. You didn't break the top. So if you lose this, you're right. The lowest possible entry. I mean, I wouldn't exactly wait for 0.6, 0.6, right? But yeah, the lowest possible entry is around here. Oh my gosh, I probably did this chart. Like I must have done this chart very long ago because I still use these lines. So yeah, so Jesus, that chart must be like at least 2 years old. And the funny thing is, if you look at it, 2 years old chart, and it's still the same areas, right? The areas haven't changed one bit. So yeah, still very good areas. So yeah, so first buy is definitely 238, you know, with one less zero, and the last possible buy area is 0.8 to 0.2, right, or 0.5 actually. That would be the last possible area, and actually that is very much possible area because you never broke the top. You never broke the top, and you had this big run up. So something like this is, you're gonna test this first and then you're gonna test this second. Obviously there's gonna be more bumps in between, there's gonna be some jumps here and there, but yeah, essentially this is the two most key areas that you should be looking at in the bear market to get a fill on. And I gotta be saying, this is probably a pretty good fill areas. The only thing what you want to probably time at is how long did ADA actually need to react from this. So if you look at it, it didn't react since very late in the bull market, right? If you look at it, the first, where's my tool again? I got a date range, right? Oh, sorry, I got it here. So if you look at it, we started in around around March, yeah. So if you look at it for the first year, it didn't actually do any moves at all, right? That's very funny. So yeah, for the first year, it didn't do much at all, right? So yeah. So you can see you might actually have a decent amount of time to accumulate that one before it actually starts going higher, right? So yeah, that would be pretty much the lowest possible buy at ADA BTC. Lol, my birthday is on 6th or 7th, so the next Wednesday. Yeah, my birthday is actually on 15th. Sorry, on 15th of July, and my mother is like on 14th. Yeah, so yeah, basically 2 days, 2 birthdays. So yeah, we have our birthday quite close together. Classic David, another surprise, right? Farial says hi. I say hi to you as well, Farial. Thank you for joining us on this stream. Classic David says short BTC 41k, stop loss at 42.6 PT. No. That is not a good, like I said already, that's not a good entry. That's not a good entry at all, Classic David, because this is already tested, my dude. This is already tested. I don't really see why this would be your stop loss. Okay, so let me see. Where do you say stop loss? 2.4. I mean, now when you put these two lines on the map, like what are you exactly trying to achieve here? Why would this ever be an invalidation point as 4.2, 42.6, right? Why would this act as an invalidation? Even if you switch it to daily, you have absolutely nothing on these two levels that you just said, right? So instead, you take this line, you move it down here, and you take this line and do move it down here, and that makes a lot more sense, because right now you are nothing else, you are shorting the top of the range, and you have your stop loss above the high of the range. So if it starts blowing up through here, well, surely it's gonna take out 42k as well, right? I mean, at 42k, you're not exactly, you're not exactly saying that something that there's something detrimental that has changed, right? So I would not know why would you put that stop loss at 42.6, right? You're not exactly invalidating anything there, right? So that trade, man, definitely not good, Classic David. Like from my standpoint, from my strategy, definitely does not work out. It's just for my the stop is just too random for my likes, right? The stop is just too random. It's in the middle of nowhere. Doesn't make any sense when it comes to invalidation. And for me to go into trade, my stop loss has to have invalidation points in it. Otherwise, you don't really need a stop loss if it doesn't have that one, right? Okay, so the next one we got T-Fuel will still greater or buy around 0.29. BTC breaks down. Okay, let me see T-Fuel. Okay, yeah, so we talked about T-Fuel last time, right? Let me see the T-Fuel. Oh yeah, I remember right now, yeah. So with T-Fuel, we're still waiting for this point right now. I'm still waiting, There's still something. I'm gonna wait for this one. The red one, like you said, wait, you said 0. Yes, that is 0. Yeah, it is 0.29. Exactly, man. That's what you're still waiting for. And of course, if Bitcoin goes down, you're gonna go even lower. So what you say your next point is 0.15. Nope, I wouldn't actually be playing 0.15 anymore. I mean, again, right? It is the level that's been tagged twice. I mean, it's not totally wrong, because after you tag this level twice, you did gain over the left side, so which means in some sort of a fact that you've reset the liquidity here, right? There is a known fact about this. So yes, I'm gonna say like this: 0.15 is a buy. Okay, you can buy here again. Agree. But the most point you want to be looking at is 0.8. That's the point you want to be looking at next. But okay, fine. You can definitely smash a trade here. Why not? By the low price action, you did gain above the left side when you tested this level twice. And, if you gain a level from the left side, at that point, liquidity usually resets itself. And again, it's been like a what pump? 300% pump. Sure, go for it, If this red area fails, the next one is going to be 0.15. Yeah. And if Bitcoin fails as well, yeah, for 20k, it's most likely this one is happening. Either one of those two. So yeah, T-Fuel, I mean, I do think it's still going to be a great buy. Yeah, I mean, but if you go into proper bear market, holy shit, this thing is going to suffer because it's very high up. Holy shit, you could be looking at minus 90%, not going to lie, man. Almost as bad as Doge, but it's obviously T-Fuel is nowhere near as bad as Doge, right? Nowhere near, man. Looks like our area is working from the other side, or not as classic. Again, very salty that my short got missed, and looks like I'm gonna be missed again. And again, and again. So yeah, Doge is just not gonna give me an entry at the end of the day. Touché, Doge, touché. That doesn't mean you're not gonna die, Doge. You're still gonna die. Possibly miss the greatest short of this bull market. Yep. The greatest short of this bull market right here, and I have missed it. But if you're looking, if I mooned in, I mean, it's still plenty of money to be made. You can still go 0.20, 95% down, yeah. So yeah, the greatest short of this bull market could still be very profitable, but I just can't find an entry for it. I just can't do it. I can't find an entry, and unfortunately, that is insert set cock blocking me a little bit. Yeah. So where is the set to stop loss for long at 33k? Set less stop loss for this long would be located underneath the low, as we said. Underneath this low, so around here, my dude. Around here. Oops. Yes. You're gonna be putting in underneath the low, right? That would be a proper invalidation point to this trade. A proper. Because underneath here, I would be having my stop loss underneath here if I was scalping. But I'm not scalping, because if I was scalping, then I would have to take another trade here, right? At the low range. So I'm just taking a main trade here, you know, putting my stop loss under there and just aiming for the short up here, right? It's a box, right? I mean, this line does not represent short, it's more here, right? It's an area. Yeah. So yeah. So that's basically how I'm placing my stop loss and my buy on Bitcoin. Litecoin USDT. Wait, actually, let me first check Litecoin BTC. I think that trade was stopped, right? Or what happened with that? Our BTC trade on Litecoin. After this amazing full nice reaction. Oh wait, it wasn't. It's still holding. But again, after this amazing full reaction where we said, let's go, let something like this happen in the Litecoin, because it's always happened in the past and it didn't swoop the low. Actually didn't end up happening, right? So it's a sad thing. Litecoin is running out of time, out of bull market, so most likely this one we're gonna have to postpone it again, but not this time around. Let's check Litecoin USDT, and Litecoin USDT looking bearish as well. Look at that, multiple levels lost, multiple levels on weekly loss. This is definitely bearish. This is for sure bearish. And again, one of these tricks, you know, you turn the chart around and you can see, right, you're losing all of these levels. And what does that make you? Bearish, of course. Now, not only are you losing these levels, but you're almost close to closing underneath this previous high created, or in this case low, right? So if you close it underneath here, most likely you're going to be tagging 84 or even long-term speaking $50, right? So one of those two levels are going to be hit in the future. So again, you know, by just simply turning your chart around, you can simply see information rather, I mean, much faster in some sort of cases, right? Where the actual thing is heading. And yeah, Litecoin is is doing exactly the same thing. So if you can get a pullback, you can still get it to like up here. I would still be shorting something like this if it does happen, of course. But for you to test 280 at this point on this chart, wow, you would have to get a little bit lucky, to be honest, right? So 280 up here, you know, very I'm gonna say very low probability at for now. I'm gonna write for now very low probability of happening, but 166 could still happen, and you could potentially have a nice short look in here. Let me actually put it on 4 hourly to see kind of better. Yeah, I mean, short is around here, yeah, for sure. Short is around here, but again, it's an ugly chart. It's like Ethereum. I much rather just do it on Bitcoin. Bitcoin has much clearer chart, guys, much clearer. But this actually looks worse than Ethereum. This actually looks like this even swoop this lower right here. So yeah, this looks absolutely worse than Ethereum as well. So yeah, short it, of course. So Classic 7 says, when shorting BTC, since it's so liquid, do you agree even with automatic stop losses? Or do I have to stick with manual and tap trader and will make? Oh, sorry. When I'm shorting BTC, I always use automatic stop losses. I'd never use tap trader or anything like that. I mean, I have full trust in BTC, right? And its liquidity, for sure. I'd only use them on, like I said, on altcoins, because, and even on altcoins, you know, you gotta get some experience with it. But after trading for alts for so long, I do have a knack for them, so I kind of know. Like especially something like Link, right? When trading something like Link, I kind of know what's gonna happen, or even if they do go through in certain area, I know that how many % of the times they are likely to return, right? So when you get something like this, you don't exactly get obliterated on your stop. So I rather just always go out manually. And one of the most things I do during those areas or times or whatever, right, is when something like this happens, I go on low time frames and I analyze the whole thing on low time frame. So I drew an entire area which is covering, and then I'm following that trade in the area of stop loss, right? And if that trade has absolutely no potential, or it's absolutely losing the entire range without even any pullback or anything, then yes, I exit it exit immediately and sometimes take a bigger loss. But I'm gonna say it from my experience right now, and right now that I'm already, you know, a little bit better than I was back in the past. Right now I'm getting a lot. Like it rarely ever happens. Tap trader saves me a lot of times. I'm gonna tell you like this: tap traders saved me a shit ton of times during this bull run, right? And I've never had to, when you know it overreacted on my stop loss, I never had to exit and take a loss prematurely because it almost always came back, which only means one thing, that I'm picking good areas, right? It's not something that everybody should do, because if you do not pick a good area, you're gonna get obliterated, right? But if you do pick the good areas, then yes, sometimes those big areas do overreact, but it returns itself in, right? One of those things like this, overreacted for like what, 30%, and then eventually came back in and even went above it, right? So yeah, these are some sort of systems like this, and yeah, don't overdo it, especially in the beginning. Don't overdo it, especially you, David. You like to risk shit a lot, right? Don't overdo it. So yeah. So in Bitcoin, definitely do not use tap trader. Bitcoin just acts totally different than alts, right? I mean, because at Bitcoin you can't just pick an area and say, yeah, that's gonna hold it, right? Because if that was the case, then Bitcoin would already go from here to 45k or something like that. That what would happen on altcoins. If it was up to altcoins, that's exactly what would happen on altcoins. But Bitcoin works a lot different in this sort of case, right? Bitcoin has its own tendencies, right? So that's why when it moves so hard, right? I mean, it moves so hard without retesting any of the areas below, which is again something that altcoins, if they were normal, they would do, right? So altcoins trade entirely different than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin you cannot screw around yourself as much as you can with them. And altcoins, for me, even in this sort of sense, altcoins are easier to trade than Bitcoin. Essentially, for me, altcoins are easier to trade. They just respect areas way more, and if they hold an area, you have a high chance of testing another area. So this is why the profit takes on our altcoins work as well, so well as well, because if they hold one area, they're gonna test in next one, right? Well, Bitcoin, you know, even if it holds one area, it's gonna range. It's gonna test the lower part of the range and then break the range, right? So this is exactly the good example that what you're seeing right now. A lot of the alts are doing the same right now. Why? Because they're being pressured by Bitcoin. But as soon as the Bitcoin is gonna chill, let's just say in this sort of a range, you will see that alts will basically go from one area to another, you know, to another, right? And you're just gonna get this kind of action all together, right? And you're gonna be filling trades, profit takes, and everything. The only downside to alts is these areas. So let's just say bull market, these areas are very much far apart. So I don't know, you're getting like 100% trades, 70, you know, juicy trade like this. But during bear market, you know, you're gonna get areas like this. Oops. Oh yeah, I could be doing it like that. Yeah. Whoa. And oops. And we are gonna be getting them for like Jesus, come on. So yeah, and then we're gonna have like a 10 to 20, 30% in between. So our percentage ratio on trades will go way down. So yeah, during the bull market, we had so many TPs above 100%. We won't probably have a 1 TP that's going to be above 100% during bear market, right? So during bear market, I'm just going to be collecting 10, 20, 30% in between the bounces of coins, which is still very good money compared to regular markets, right? I mean, compared to regular markets, you're still doing very good for yourself, right? And you're going to outrun them as long as you play it smartly, right? Okay, guys. That will wake me up at 3 a.m. I feel it, man. It has woken me up at 3 a.m. many times, especially this year. I mean, you know, Arnaud, because right now the Asia session, oh my gosh, the Asia session is so popular in the last year. Ever since that dump happened, everything is happening during Asia session. So I do feel you when you say it's woken you up at 3 a.m. But then I'm gonna say that to me, that only happens now when it's really bad times, right? So it's really something dropped hard or something, you know, something just overreacted. Advice, don't overdo it. Is it concerning my stop losses or shorting? I would say both. So your shorting and longing ambitions are definitely very high on risk, and also your stop losses in that case are high on risk, right? I mean, just you don't have to use tap trading on Ethereum, Bitcoin. Let's just put it like that. Like, and for alts, just don't short it. I rarely short alts, except if Doge. Like you can short Doge any day of the week. But for other alts like Link and those, I don't really short them. I really don't. I mean, I do sometimes here and there, but very, very rarely. Very rarely. I just prefer longs over it. Because like same as they do, you know, when they drop some kind of news or something, those they tend to overreact as well, you know, so you can easily get stopped out for nothing. But yeah, I short them here and then when it's really obvious, but if it's not obvious at all, right, then I don't. So yeah, I just stay to my safe zone, right? And again, during times like this, you do have less trades because of it, but that's okay, man. We had plenty of trades before, and we're gonna have plenty of trades in the bear market. I'm not worried at all. It's just summer, man. It's time to chill, you know, go on vacation, enjoy summer. Hopefully you don't have to work as much, and I'm doing the same thing, right? I'm just trying to enjoy the summer at the moment. Don't have to overreact on trading as well, because time is not right. We were basically trading for every day for a year right now in this bull market. We just traded we had trades almost every single day. It was insane amount of trades. And right now it's the break time, right? Now I'm probably not gonna do much for the next 2 months still. And that's okay, right? Because you only have to be really here when it's the main course part, right? Because this is where you make the most money. And yes, we make good money during this bull run, so we can chill a little bit, right? For sure. Yeah, guys, I guess we will wrap this stream up here today. It's been almost for 50 minutes, right? I mean, we're gonna do stream next week again on 7th. It's probably gonna be Wednesday. So yeah, on 7th we're gonna do the next one, and yeah, pretty good stream. I mean, you guys had some good questions. I think we have a good plan for Bitcoin following. We have longs, we have shorts, and we have even lower. Let's just say this area doesn't hold. We even have longs underneath. And yeah, guys, we are prepared for this. So I don't think we're gonna be shocked by the markets. For sure not. And yeah, I guess we see each other next time, right, Arnaud? You got something to add there?
No. Everything was clear, I think.
Yep.
So guys, take care of you, and
take care, guys. Take care, Classic David. Keep on trading, brother. Wednesday. Never stop, man. Never stop. Yep. So yeah, thank you for following, guys. See ya.
Bye.